So OnePlus is falling, and you might be like, why the hell are you talking shit about OnePlus, Phoenix? You use a OnePlus phone, right? Yes, I do. In fact, you can watch the review of that here. But I use a OnePlus 5, and you might be wondering, why do I use a OnePlus 5 when I could upgrade? Well, first of all, I'm broke, so I cannot pay the premium that OnePlus asks. But secondly, I just don't like where the OnePlus phones are at this point, and many people don't. I'm not the only one. They've gone from being an enthusiast brand that caters to its, customers or community to one where it's just spewing, tens and hundreds of phones out every year. Well, not hundreds, but many phones out every year with not the best, quality control and things like that. So why has OnePlus fallen? What's been the factor behind their downfall? Well, let's get right into it. The first reason, and arguably I would say the most important reason, is pricing and a shift in strategy. What does this mean? Well, I'm going to compare the latest one to the OnePlus 5 because the OnePlus 5 is what I've used and I have not had much love for the newer ones. Anyway, so I have the maxed out top spec version of the OnePlus 5 and it was actually my mom's and she bought it at launch in 2017. And at that time, the phone costed around 38,000 Indian rupees. This is 8 gigs of RAM, 128 gigs of storage and all the fun stuff, which puts it at just under $500 in like today's money, US dollars that is. Compare that to the OnePlus 10 Pro. Now this phone starts at 66,999, which is very nice. And the top spec model of that with 12 gigs of RAM and 256 gigs of storage is 72,999, which puts it almost at $1,000, just over $900 in today's money. So there is an almost doubling of price when you compare these phones. Even at the starting price is almost double. Now, why is that? Well, OnePlus, back when they launched the OnePlus 5 and phones prior to that, was considered to be, as I said, an enthusiast brand, a brand that released best value phones, what they called flagship killers at low prices. Today though, OnePlus is trying to pivot themselves as a brand that releases premium flagship phones, just like maybe Samsung or Huawei. Well, not Huawei, they've been banned. Samsung or Xiaomi or any other such. Sony is another one. Why is that? Well, it's just because when you release enthusiast phones as a brand, it doesn't make that much profit because you are catering to a very small audience like OnePlus did. Though the OnePlus phones did sell well, they just couldn't turn that much of a profit because the components used in those older OnePlus phones were expensive. If you're using the latest processor, like this OnePlus 5 did, they had the Snapdragon 835 and they had a dual camera setup and all that jazz. Those things don't come cheap. And you can see it. You can see how they've pivoted. Because if you look at the OnePlus 5's design, it is very much function over form. It does feel good in your hand, to be fair. And it's a svelte phone. That's partly why I really love it. It's just so covert. But that's the thing. It doesn't stand out when you look at the phone. It's just a phone, just like any other phone might be. Compare that to the latest OnePlus 10 Pro and you'll see exactly what we're talking about here. The OnePlus 10 Pro is, it just looks so much more premium. You got the hole punch camera, you got the glass and aluminum sandwich, you got the matte finish on the back and 3 cameras and the sort of Samsung-like camera setup. And it looks like a phone that you might actually, go to a store and be like, oh, that's a nice one. It looks like a phone that might turn heads when you take it out of your pocket. That is one of the main reasons why pricing is shot up and why in today's day, the newer OnePlus phones, they just haven't been so appealing, ironically, actually, to people who were OnePlus fans previously. Alright, the second reason is to do with software. And if you're enjoying this video, by the way, a sub to the channel would be soft. Nice. I don't know. Anyway. Okay, software. Yeah. So second reason is to do with software. Now, what does this mean? Well, if we look at the software that, for example, last was there on the OnePlus 5, the Oxygen OS 10.0.1, it just looks clean. OnePlus's software strategy was clean software with deep levels of customization if you needed it, but on the surface, it's clean stock Android and very vanilla, very fast and zippy, right? Is what the word I would use. And also, they also had a very good reputation with software updates, where you get 3 years of updates, maybe 4, things like that. Now though, with OnePlus merging into Oppo, and if we look at the new software skin, it's very much more bloated in a way, but it also has a lot more happening. It's not stock Android, it's not like a clean look. It's got a lot of animations, a lot of color, it has a lot of personality, to be fair, but it's not as clean as it was before. And you got to remember, the people who are buying OnePlus phones are those who like that clean software, are those people who enjoy such characteristics. And this new, say, Oxygen OS 13 is not that. There's a lot of stuff, there's a lot of bloatware, and there is just a lot more jank. It doesn't feel as zippy as the OnePlus 5 or phones with the older Oxygen OS versions did. And this is another reason that's led people to just shy away from OnePlus, because let's face it, a bad t-shirt might ruin your day, but a bad phone and a bad software experience that you don't enjoy will ruin your year. Alright, the third and the final reason is Carl Pay. No, Carl Pay, please don't come after me. It's not you, it's you. What? Govind probably won't be happy with this. Anyway, the third reason is Carl Pay, and specifically the fact that he left. Now, what does this mean? Well, Carl Pay, one of the founders of OnePlus, along with Pete Lau, who is the current CEO, Carl Pay was known for his marketing strategies. He was known for hyping up a phone. Just look at the OnePlus Nord. It was presented to people, it was a budget phone by the way, but was presented to people as if it was like God's gift to humanity, right? And it worked. That's the crazy thing. If you looked at the OnePlus Nord, or in fact the OnePlus 5 as well, the OnePlus Nord was a phone where he had gotten 3 separate waves of pre-orders just before the phone. So effectively, people that were booking the phone before they even knew what it was. Today though, OnePlus marketing is a way more sterile experience. It's like any other company's marketing, where you have a launch event, maybe some pictures on the OnePlus channel, things like that. You don't have that level of hype and anticipation that OnePlus has. And you have to also consider another point here, where if we look at the number of phones that OnePlus released, if we look at the year when they released the OnePlus 5, they released just 2 phones, the OnePlus 5 and the OnePlus 5T. Today, in this year, the OnePlus has released quite a few phones, over 10 to 11 phones. They have the Nord series, they have the OnePlus 10 series, the 10T series, the 10T 5G, the 10 Pro 5G. So it's a load of phones that OnePlus has released, and they're not all as good value for money, right? As we talked about. So it just causes less anticipation, because now you have not as much hype and more phones to go with it, which means that you don't have the crowd waiting for, your launch event like you had previously. And the funny thing is, Carl Pay, who created his own company called Nothing, is actually employing the same, technique there. Watch my video on that here. He's employing the same technique there, and it's working. The Nothing Phone 1 has sold like crazy. The Nothing Ear 1s have sold like crazy. And the Nothing Ear Stick, which is their budget earphones, which are coming soon, appear that they will also sell like crazy. So OnePlus marketing has really fallen off the rails here. So where does this all leave us with? Well, as I said, to summarize, OnePlus has fallen because it's just lost that community that had a lot of love for OnePlus products. They've now become this mega corporation just spewing out phones, tablets, and all sorts of products today. From a brand that was like listening to its community and creating hype and delivering. That's what they used to do. And thus they've lost that core fan base. People might still buy a OnePlus, but they're not attached to a OnePlus, right? And you can actually look at this. If you look at reviewers, Mr. Who's the Boss, who used to cover like every single OnePlus phone, has just not covered this year at all. And other YouTubers have not recommended the new OnePlus phones because there's just nothing that makes it stand out from any other flagship phone. And in fact, it's not as good as other flagship phones in terms of specifications. So I am still going to keep my OnePlus 5 and probably switch to a Pixel or something when I actually upgrade my phone, because I love my OnePlus 5 and it runs like makhan. Makhan means butter in India. And by the way, if you want to stay with this channel, you'll also get to see a OnePlus 5 day in the life video, so you can see exactly why I love the OnePlus 5. Also, this video, as I said, is recorded on a OnePlus 5, so you can see how the camera holds up even today. On that note though, I'd like to hear from you guys. If you use a OnePlus, and which OnePlus do you guys use? And which one was your favorite one? Also, what do you think about, OnePlus falling from, that level of enthusiastic brand to a level where it's just, a mega corporation? Alright guys, I'm Phoenix. This has been a fun video, and I'll see you in the next one. It stacks up at OnePlus releasing, the most, if not the most important reason is pricing. Maxed out top spec version. The reason I'm using the OnePlus 5 is because the reason I'm using older videos setups, which you can watch, here or something. One second. What the hell happened in the network? Enthusiastic phones, catering to the enthusiast brand. Sorry.